Hello, welcome to the 7th, the last review of the match played for the Nederlandse Internet Go Competition 2020. This time we've got a match played between Martin Bierbooms and Filius. Let's start. Here in the opening we've got a little bit unusual situation, because now after this connection, White decided to play this way. Normally, White plays this exchange first and then plays in this spot. This is like one of the options, like to play Joseki in the corner. If White plays how it happened in the game, just like this, now Black can just connect the shape. And how to continue for White? It's not that easy. If White plays like this, actually we can try to reverse the order, because it's also possible for Black to play like this. This is also some kind of Joseki. So normally after this move, White plays here. White cuts Black's stones so that White has quite strong shape. But if White decides to play like this, it's like now we have a reversed order comparing to this what happened in the game. If Black plays like this and White continues, Black can attack White's group. All these stones here are under some pressure. White doesn't have many forcing moves around, so that it's possible to strengthen this group easily. So I think in this case Black should be just satisfied. And yeah, in the actual game we've got the same. After this connection, when White plays like this, when Black plays here, it's possible just to play here and it's possible to attack White's group. So what is the difference between Joseki? In Joseki, when Black plays like this and White makes this exchange on the start, later if White decides to play here, now basically Black has two options: playing in this spot or playing in this spot. If Black plays here in this spot, Black protects a little bit more this stone here on the side. But now after playing this move, White is able, for example, to strengthen his group while playing in this spot, so it's easier for White to make ice here on the left. And if Black decides to play this way, now there are some more weaknesses with this stone, so that like later, after playing, for example, here and some continuation, it might be quite painful for Black when White plays here this attachment. Because after this move, if Black simply descends on the second line, White gets a good exchange. White gets some stone for outside and Black plays just some move on the second line. It must be good exchange for White normally. And Black cannot really think about playing here on the fourth line, because now White already cuts Black's shape, so it's a disaster for Black. The most usual move for Black is to play here this Hane. Later there might be some crazy sequence, like in my opinion the most popular one is to play this way. I think this is the most popular sequence in this case. Like, let's say here it's already something played higher, and this is just the follow-up. After this move, it looks crazy to play like this for White, this double Hane. But what can Black do? If Black only connects, White is also able to fix his shape, so now there is some weakness in Black's shape. If Black sooner or later will need to connect in this spot, then Black plays some kind of a dame, right? Because White gets here a strong shape below, on the side below, and now Black, if he needs to connect, it's really 0 points for Black. So like this, I think White should be okay. Like, of course, depends what's going on here on the left in this side, but like this is just some option for White. If Black decides to play something else, maybe Black would be interested in playing like this. But now White gets also quite solid these stones which are outside. So now if Black connects or if Black plays like this, White is able to block here this side. So White gets some kind of a wall. Maybe it will be possible to play some nice extension later for White. White is quite strong. And if Black plays like this, White also is able to cut here and get really solid shape. So this is some kind of Tesuji for White also to play this way. But let's come back to the game. In the actual game, after this move, actually it's not good for Black, like normally. It's not good for Black also to block here like this, because after this move White is able to cut. Now Black cannot really connect well because White has this move in center. So for Black it's quite difficult to play here anyway. It will be quite painful situation anyway. So okay, let's move to the game. In the actual game, Black decided to play here in this spot, and actually it's like an usual move in my opinion, because what is Black trying to do? Black is trying to get here some base, but to really get this base back, we need to play here in this spot, in this b7. So now if White like just takes the corner, this corner is pretty big, and if Black would like to have here some base, Black will need to play, for example, in this spot. And Black doesn't have a nice continuation. White can actually already play Tenuki. What can Black do there? If white plays somewhere else and later black to make life with all these stones, maybe black will need to play like this, like this, like this, and still come back, then what's going on? Like playing here for black, it's like not interesting at all, and black would need to play there to really prove that this stone make some nice impact for black on the left. So it will be very hard for black, in my opinion, to use this stone what black has just played. And if black doesn't continue anything on the left, and if black tries to maybe make life in the corner while playing like this, like this, like this, and like this, now we can see that playing here it was like not so big. White got just a very solid shape, very solid group. All the time white is able to cut here black's shape so that these three stones are under a big pressure, in my opinion. And yeah, this white's shape is just too strong, in my opinion. So playing this tenuki, I think it's very risky for black. I would really recommend just to protect here this side, this bottom. And if white continues like this, okay, black can just try to continue attacking white's group. Yeah, but in the actual game, white decided to play like this. Black played this peep, but white didn't connect yet. White played here some exchanges, okay. White connected now. So here we've got a few more exchanges, and actually I'm wondering for white, why not getting this corner? It's pretty big. If black decides to capture these two stones, okay, black is connected with everything, but white has sente, white just took the corner, white is able to play some tenuki. Looks interesting for white. In the actual game, white decided to fight here. Okay, let's check what happened. Yeah, white protected here these stones, but now black connected all the corner. And now there starts to be also some problem for white. White with this group doesn't have two eyes yet, right? Like here there is just one eye, and here to get the second eye, white will need to add some stone at some point. So I think it would be just more easy for white, easier just to get this corner and sacrifice these two stones before in the center. And what to do now? White decided to escape with this group this way. If I was white, I would probably play a little bit in a little bit different way. It's possible in this moment to lean on this black stone so that if black will answer, now white can already capture actually black stones. It's not possible for black in this moment to escape with this group. Yeah, so this would be just very good for white. So after this move, maybe black would need to escape anyway, but here now white can already get a little bit more interesting shape here below. If black tries to play something like this, white is able to connect, white gets more onto that area. Here black all the time is separated from the other stones. So even if black will try to continue playing something here in the center, I think it would be anyway okay for white. Yeah, but let's move to the game. This move I cannot speak it's bad, maybe it's just some other way of playing, because now after this jump, white doesn't need to play here anything else. So white can focus more on playing something on the top, maybe attacking here the other stones. So this is actually what happened in the game. White made these exchanges, and now white played here this schema. And now white is not so strong here on the bottom, but white was here faster. Like maybe it's also fine to play this way. Here black played something more, but if we're looking on this shape all the time, sooner or later there might be some edge in white's group. White only has one eye, so maybe later black will be able to attack the other group. But now white anyway keeps pressure on the other stones, so this is most important now. So okay, let's check what's going on. Here white tries to attack somehow black stones, so white gets some points on the top, looks fine. But now in this moment, this is actually a very important moment of the game, white decided to play like this. In my opinion, it's just an overplay. Here for black it's possible just to cut and extend, and black captures white. It's already not possible to do anything for white with these two stones. Like if white plays like this, black just captures. After this move, it's possible for black just to take away liberties so that white is dead. It's a huge difference for for both players in this case. Like here, this move is just too much. I would recommend maybe just to connect. If white wants to get more solid shape for outside, maybe white can even think about playing like this and later like this, so that if black decides to take points, white gets more solid shape for outside. This is some other way of playing in this case for white. Yeah, but after this move, black just needs to cut. Now this connection, I really don't understand. But now in this moment, white already connected. Okay, it's a good move in my opinion. And now we can see also that white decided to play like this. White all the time tries to keep some pressure on these black stones. And now actually black just connected. In this moment, this move looks a little bit risky because black can try to do some trick. It's possible instead of this connection to play like this. And now after white protects the outside, it's possible to play this bamboo joint. So that now in this case, black creates a cutting point in white's shape. If white connects with the stone, now black is able, for example, to cut. It's possible to do many problems with white's group. Even if black doesn't cut now, this cut will be later. And now actually the ladder breaker works quite well for black. So I think it's possible even to cut in this moment. So black is able to do problems with the outside stones. So I think this is where black could like do this trick for white while playing in this spot. If white decides to cut the other group, I think black doesn't need to worry that much, because like this, black cuts here the other stones, and after white connects, I feel like it's still going to be possible to survive with the other stones like this. White all the time is under some pressure. White doesn't have many liberties with these other stones, so with some cutting points, I think black will be just able to survive without many problems in the top. And like this, white is already under very big pressure here below. So I think like this it would be also quite good for black. Yeah, but in the actual game, black simply connected, white connected as well, and now black here descended. And white play it here. Here, I think it's quite important to really check what's going on with ice. After this connection, when black decided to play somewhere else, white is able to get this move in center. It threatens to cut all these big groups. So after this move, maybe black will protect himself. Maybe while playing here in this spot. So now black doesn't have an eye already. So white destroyed an eye in center. It's very important, destroying an eye in center. I think black made a mistake. This move, in my opinion, it cannot be so big, because the continuation what black gets in the corner still doesn't give him an eye. Let's say white plays somewhere else and black plays like this. So white can make this exchange in center. Later, it is possible to play like this, but it's also possible to play here this Tesuji. This only thing what black can do is to make some kind of core. And the next thing, even if white would be afraid, and even if white would play this way, black can get only one eye there. So it's not that big. And this core, even if there is this core, maybe white will win this core. We also don't know. Like here, if white wins this core, black is also like in not so good shape here actually. Black would need to play only core threads to escape with this group. Maybe it's also an option for white to play this way. Yeah, but the most important now, I feel like really, is to destroy this eye in center. Destroying eye in center is really huge. After black plays like this, what will white do on the top? Doesn't really matter what white will play. Black also is able to escape with this group here in the center. Like, what can white do? Playing like this? Then black can just cut. Like, doesn't really matter how black can cut in any way. Black can cut like this. Also here there starts to be many other problems. So it's not that easy for white to really play somewhere else on the top. And if white responds somewhere here outside, I don't know, let's say something like this, then black can play the same. But now black has this eye. So here I feel like really it's very important to get this eye. It's something like a double center eye. Double center, because after black plays here, I think white will need to answer. And if white will play like this, black will need to answer. Double center for eye. It's really extremely big to play there. And yeah, white decided to block in the corner now, so black is able to play in this spot. In the actual game, black decided to play like this. Okay, let's check what happened later in the game. yeah, there were these exchanges, and now white decided to escape with the other group. Here white has this profit that white is able to connect anytime, so white doesn't need to be that much afraid of his group here below because of this emergency exit. Yeah, but white also tries to attack now black's stones. But after this move, white decided to play Tanuki. I feel like it's quite big to come back and protect white's shape in this spot. Why? Because one thing, white attacks black's group. This is like white keeps some pressure on black stones. And second thing, white protects here cutting points. For example, now it's more difficult to cut like this for black because white has this extra stone in this spot. It's not that easy. Black cannot really cut that easily. If black tries to cut in some other way while playing, for example, like this, white all the time is able to find some other moves so that white will be able to use this stone while connecting some of his groups. So I think it's quite big to come back in this spot to keep everything protected. But white played from the other side. Okay, black protected himself as well. And now what happened? While making here all these exchanges, black actually got quite strong group. White got here, of course, some points. It's not like nothing, but black got quite strong group. And now black is able to attack all these stones here in the center. While having this group, it's much easier. So now in the actual game, black decided to cut like this. So black cuts, black separates white's groups. There is a problem for white. Actually, I think this problem could be even a little bit bigger because how to cut? This is like one option of cutting. But now white has here an extra liberty. It's also possible to cut like this. Now white doesn't have this extra liberty. However, in this case, white can play like this and the ladder works well for white, right? Ladder works, ladder works well for white. So black cannot cut like this now, but maybe before this cutting, black can make this exchange. After this exchange, it's already possible to cut. Now ladder doesn't matter because black has this extra stone. So now, while being able to take away this outside liberty from these two stones, it seems like it's much easier for black to fight. Because it will be possible to cut later here if white plays like this, doesn't matter what white plays outside, it sooner or later will be possible to cut in this spot. So white needs to worry more about his own stones. So while considering in which side to cut, I would recommend to check on the outside liberties. In this case, I think it matters a lot to take away this outside liberty for white stones. So that now while being able to make this kind of exchange and cutting like this, I think this would be a little bit more interesting for black. And in the actual game, while black decided to cut, now it's more difficult to fight. Actually, I think white, like instead of playing here in the spot, maybe white can all the time fight a little bit with the stone in the center. Now white decided to protect here this top, but white still doesn't protect this unconditionally. Still it's possible to attack a little bit this group on the top. So that this protection, maybe it's not so big for white in this moment. And here we've got another weak group in the center. And here actually we've got one more group, black's group in the center. So that if white somehow would get strong with this group, maybe it's going to be easy to attack black's group. So if in some case white would need to maybe even sacrifice here this top and get a very big wall, then it might be still quite interesting for white because black's group here will be under a very big pressure. So maybe instead of protecting here on the top own group, maybe it would be more interesting to play anything here outside, maybe something like this, and trying to get some wall. This is like one of the options, for example, to play like this, so that it's not that easy for black to actually move away with his stones. And white gets some wall, so later it might be really possible, in my opinion, to attack here the other stones. Even if black would kill all this top. It might be not that easy, but even if black would kill all this top, still I feel like white would be in quite good mood because of having here this solid shape, some other stones around. And like this is maybe one of the options. Maybe it's possible to play some other moves, maybe like this, maybe even something like this and some geta, let's say something here. I think it's possible to play here some more moves. Like I like this one, and here to make black's shape not so good. Yeah, so I think this way would be a little bit more interesting for white to fight. When white decided to play in this spot, now black got this exchange in center, so now black keeps control. Now black keeps control on this what's going on in the center. In the actual game, black decided to play like this, okay, and white cut here to capture this one stone. White takes away black's base, okay, and now black decided to play this Atari. Like normally in this shape, it's a little bit more interesting for black to extend. Later when white plays like this, black is able to play here. After white captures the stones, black will have some center move. And after this exchange, not necessarily. I'm not so sure if this will be center. In my opinion, not. So I think it would be better to exchange this to make sure there will be some center for black. And this is like a normal, like common move for black to fix somehow the shape to continue there on the top. So in the actual game, we've got these exchanges, and now white tried to threaten that white will cut here black's shape. White also tries to destroy black's shape a little bit. Okay, in the actual game, black tried to fight like this, and now this, in my opinion, cannot be a good move. Like black's shape is really horrible. Like here there is one empty triangle, here is double empty triangle. Double empty triangle, it cannot be good. Even if dying with these stones, I think it would be more interesting for black than playing this double empty triangle. It's not so big, this what black gets. After playing here, white is all the time able to escape with these stones into the center. All the time it's possible to attack all this black's group. So black doesn't really protect his group while connecting here in this spot. All the time black has many problems with own group. So if black would have here this shape much stronger, if black would have here some other stones, then maybe connecting here it's not so small. But if black can see that all the time he will be like under some pressure even after this connection, that white will be able to attack black's group, then this connection is just not so big. Maybe it would be better to sacrifice these stones, play somewhere else. Now it might be also quite interesting even to cut. Because if white decides to really capture these stones on the top while playing, for example, here, black might be able to get some other moves in center. Like let's say something like this. It might be possible for black to get some wall. Even if white would kill their black on the top, black would be able to get some wall. So if black gets here some wall, white gets, let's say, 20 points on the top, but black gets this wall most likely in center. So later all this group is already dead. Black is here quite strong. Black will have also some moyo. Sounds very interesting, right? And it's also not so easy for white to really try to escape this way, because now it's also possible to play like that for black. So it's not that easy even now for white to cut here in this spot. So I would really recommend for black to cut. Like connection here, it's very small move because black doesn't protect his group all the time. Now if white plays here, like black needs to think about playing somewhere here on the right, but while getting this move, white gets also some like nice possibility to escape with the other stones which are in the center. So white gets really quite strong shape, and this move, in my opinion, it's not so interesting for white, because like, okay, if white plays here, black plays here, then it's nice exchange for white, because white protects a few more points on the top. But black would not connect. Why connecting here for black? Like this, black all the time has some potential in the center. Like later, like the schema is just one of the options. It's not so good move in my opinion, but black is able to play there. Black doesn't need to worry about these two stones in the center. White doesn't have a stone in this spot, so black still is not under so big pressure. Black can play tenuki, black can play, for example, like this, black can play here, like how it happened in the game. Black can also choose some other moves around, just possible to escape with this group. And instead of having a stone in this spot, it seems much more interesting for white to have the stone outside. Like this, white keeps more pressure on both groups from black, on these two stones, on this group. So this is just, in my opinion, like maybe too much for white to try. In the actual game, black actually connected, and I really don't understand why. It's like 4 points to connect these two stones, and now white gets so powerful move outside. Black all the time is under big pressure, but now white gets a much easier way to attack this group. While having this exchange, when black connects and white plays here, it starts to be really much easier to attack black's group on the right. It's also easier to play anything in the center. So actually this exchange, it should be really very, very nice for white to get this exchange. Now black played some Tesuji actually. Black made this exchange and later black protected. Without this exchange, when black just protects himself, white can make something like this. And now even if black tries to cut somehow and come back, white has Geta. If black cuts from the other side and comes back, all the time white has Geta. So white is able to capture and have everything connected outside. And after this exchange, like this, it's already not that easy. Now black cuts the other stones, what white had here, so black kind of takes a lot of points. On the other hand, white, after this exchange, is much stronger. White has very strong shape. So after this exchange, white is already able, for example, to play something like this and attack the other group. And I would recommend white to play here this attacking now in this moment before playing anything in the center, because now white all the time is very strong. If we move to the game, white decided to play here some exchanges and later tried some attack, but now when black already has this stone connected, white is not that strong. Later it might be possible to cut white's shape. If white decided to attack black's group a little bit earlier, in this moment, now black cannot cut white's shape. So it's more difficult for black to play. And white all the time can play here, like in this spot, how it was in the game, later. White doesn't need to play now. For black doesn't have time to come back there, because if white attacks black's group, black cannot just play Tenuki here in this spot, because then black just dies with all this group here on the right. So while playing something like this, white doesn't lose anything. All the time white can come back later and play the same sequence which happened in the game. Yeah, but let's move to the game. White decided to play this exchange and later play it here on the right. And actually white didn't continue this attacking. White played here some move all the time in the center. Like this attacking looks still quite big, in my opinion. It's still quite big to attack this group. Maybe it will be possible to get some extra exchanges. Let's say black will try to escape with this group. Maybe during this attacking, white will be able to get here some extra moves. So later it will be possible to like attack black stones a little bit more. So in my opinion, it would be still a little bit more interesting to focus first on attacking black's group, because maybe it would be possible to get some extra stones around as a profit, like bonus, because black needs to try to make life with these stones. So black will need to make some exchanges which normally he would not like to make, just in order to survive with this group. But in the actual game, white decided to play here this Hane, and like this, white connected. And actually, I think it might be even a losing move, because what's going on after this connection? Black can just fix the shape. After black plays like this, white cannot do anything. White can capture the stone, but black still plays here. White doesn't have even co, because after here all these moves, it's all the time for black possible to connect with these stones. Here this cutting doesn't work. Black can all the time escape. So white died. White died actually with all this group. And this connection looks like really strange. Like here actually this move looks really strange. I think it would be just more interesting to play something on the right. Like this move looks quite nice. So like after playing all these exchanges, when black plays like this, it's like very difficult situation for white already in this game. In the actual game, black decided to play this Atari first, so now white got a possibility to play some ko. White decided to play like this, okay, black captured, and there is a ko. In this ko, white captured the stone when black plays here, now if white protects here this like center, black captures this go first. Here I think it would be a little bit more interesting to play in this spot. If black captures, now white captures this go first. Why this move is important? Because it's double center. Again, double center. Same like here how it was about I, here it's also double center about I. Actually the same situation. Okay, similar situation. What's going on? When white decided to capture the stone, black captured as well, and now white played some tenuki. So now black is able to get this exchange basically in center. What's going on with white's group? Later this, let's say it will be also center. So here how many eyes does white have? If black will continue to play something on the top, white doesn't have 2 eyes yet. White has only 1 eye. So when white has only 1 eye, if in some case black will be able to destroy this other eye in the center, then black is able to kill white's group. And it might be really possible to being able to destroy this other eye in the center, because all the time white would like to attack somehow black's group. So if white plays someone here to attack, black might be able to get somehow these stones in the center. And the other option, if it would be like this, white is already alive. White has 2 eyes on the top. If black plays like this, white is able to play, for example, here. And now white has here 2 eyes. If black plays some other moves, whereas to play something like this, white is able to come back this way. So white has their 2 eyes here in this area. So white is much safer with his own group. Because of this, in my opinion, it's quite important to play here for both players, for black and for white, to have this possibility of killing white's group, actually, for black while making this exchange. And yeah, both players didn't play there. Like here, white protected like this, and black captured this ko. And now white attacked black's group. Actually, is this ko so big? Like, black with this group, black is alive. So while killing the other stones in the center, it doesn't make any impact on like life of black's group. The other stones here in the center, they are not yet alive, but they are still quite strong. After capturing the stone, black has this ponuki, black is not so weak. So here this ko is actually points. White also doesn't have here any eyes around so that it would maybe help the other group. So this is only points, plus maybe some small help for the outside stones. But it's only ko. It's not just points, it's only ko. How many points are here? It's 8 stones plus this 9, so it's 18 points and some more profit. Let's say 30 points. 30 points, but only for ko. It's not like black plays there and gets 30 points. It's only ko for these 30 points, so it's worth much less simply. And I think it's not that big to really play there. I think it would be more interesting to protect the other group for black. Maybe like this. If white connects, okay, black has tenuki. So black, while protecting here, black gets some points here on the right side. Black protects his group. Like here, it would be good to exchange this anyway. And later, black might think about playing somewhere else on the board. Maybe getting simply some points. Yeah, and if black captures this ko, now white is able to attack the other group. Now, while having this stone here, it starts to be easier to attack black's stones. And all the time, black would need to play here one more time to really get these 30 points. But if black plays there, white kills all this group here in the center. So it's like this group is much bigger than the center. So white gets much bigger profit. So I think it was not necessary for black to capture this ko at all. Now in the actual game, white tried to fight there a little bit with black's group. And here again, white captured this ko. Why not keeping pressure on black stones? Instead of capturing this ko, there's all the time possible maybe to play even like this. I don't see a way to escape for black easily with this group. It's possible to make this exchange. And how to continue? After playing here, white can play like this. All the time it's possible to cut black's group. Black doesn't have 2 eyes. It looks very risky for black actually. Why capturing this ko? It's possible to play like something like this, maybe capturing also like this to make sure it's like easier to cut. But why capturing this co? It's only 30 points. Only 30 points in cost, so it's even less, like maybe 20 points, like if trying to count some value of this co. It's like really very small. Here it's all group under big pressure, there is huge fight, like capturing co, it's not big. Here in the actual game, Black also played cost rate and came back to this co. Like, why playing this co? It's really small. Here actually, I don't understand why White decided to play in this spot. It's possible to play like this, so why White destroys I. If White plays like this, White doesn't destroy this I. Like Black is able to play here. Black is also able to play here. Actually, maybe this move is even better than protecting like this, because after playing here, Black protects here own shape. So that if White escapes, if White plays like this more, Black can just escape with own group. While having here this stone, it's not possible to cut Black. So Black can play anything in the center and Black is protected. Yeah, so like for example like this. So now Black is connected with this group, like Black can escape basically like this. So if reversing order is like White plays like this, Black played here and now White connected. It's not necessary to connect. It's possible to play anything outside if we just reverse this order. So I think this move is like not so necessary for White to play there. And yeah, after this move, White again captured this ko. Black made this cost, right? Okay. And now I don't understand what's going on. Why connecting there? Again, double empty triangle. One empty triangle, second empty triangle. It's small to play there. Normally, before this kind of connections, it's good to play something outside to get some other exchange in center, which would not be possible to get in any other way. Like if Black plays here, later White plays Tenuki. After this move, will White play in this spot? White will not play there. So before this connection, it's possible, for example, for Black to make this exchange first and later connect. It's like good timing for Black to make this exchange first. If Black only connects, later it will not be possible to make this exchange anymore, because after White plays Tenuki, when Black plays here, White will never play like this. White will always play something in the center to make sure White's group is alive. So before this connection, really, it's quite important to make any exchanges for Black, which like would be possible to get. But like here, how many points is there? It's not big. Like really, just making these exchanges, first. Okay, but after this, White connected this ko. Okay, and Black played Tenuki. And I would be afraid. Like all the time it's possible to cut here. This group is not 100% alive yet. This group is not 100% alive yet. Even though both groups aren't very weak, it's still possible to do quite many troubles for Black, in my opinion. Like two groups, so two problems for Black. If Black plays like this, just cutting. And like if Black tries to get these two stones, White is able to play something here, maybe even like this. It looks very risky for Black, in my opinion. So if Black plays something else, White can just escape. Like, I don't understand why not cutting. And actually for Black also, it would be quite big to protect himself. Doesn't really matter how. It can be connection like this, maybe some other moves, just protecting somehow. Here it's just points. It's not so big. About attacking this White's group here on the left, still Black will need to add there some move. And I think it would be just not possible to kill, because if Black plays there, White all the time is able to get some eye in the center. So White has one eye here, second eye here. White's group is alive. So I think White's group is just alive now in this very moment. So here this move is just points. And here, while being able to cut these two groups, it starts to be quite interesting for White, this situation. But in the actual game, White decided just to capture the stone. It's small. It's small, just small. Possible to do much more problems for Black while cutting here these stones. I think this move was a ladder breaker, so that later it's possible to escape. But while being able to play here, this ladder, it doesn't matter. Like if Black plays like this, it's possible anyway to get even more ladder breakers for White, like getting some other moves around. Maybe White can just play something here and try to focus more on attacking the other stones, and White will get many other possible ladder breakers around, while Black will try to escape with this group. Like if Black plays something here, maybe White will be able to play some ladder breaker anyway. Like or like this. There will be some other breakers extra for white in this case. So I think this move, just black needs to protect somehow this shape. And yeah, in the game, white decided to capture, and black played here cutting. Like when it's possible to cut, really it's a lot of problems for black. So here playing this move, I think it's quite risky. More interesting in my opinion would be just to cut here for white. White decided to cut black on the right. Okay, possible to cut like this. But black will get this exchange in center. So that maybe it will be possible to attack somehow white's group. To make sure black cannot connect, because if white plays Tenuki, black can connect like this. So to make sure black cannot connect, maybe white, instead of this move, can also play like this. If black plays here, it's gote. It's not center. It's gote. So now white is able to play anything outside. While making this move, now this is center. So black keeps attacking. So if white plays like this, and let's say black plays Tenuki, white will be able to play even here in this spot and get like these two eyes if white plays like this. So I would recommend for white to play here in this spot. It's some like Tesuji for white to play here, so that anyway white doesn't let black connect this group with the other stone, but white keeps bigger chances to make eyes for himself. Okay, but in the actual game, this was the sequence. Later, black finally protected here these two groups, okay? And now white decided to play here in this corner. Actually, the situation is a difficult situation. It's quite hard to decide. Like, who is winning now? It's might be not so easy to really decide. Like, white has here some points, here some points. Okay, here it's like almost nothing, but black here has just a few. Let's say it's Komi, one corner. If white will just make life with this group, black will also get here some points. It would be good to count territory if it's enough or no. Maybe white can also think about playing some other moves like Keima and just escape to be like on the easy side. Yeah, but is it really enough for white? About this I'm not 100% sure. White decided to play some fighting style. Okay. Maybe it will be still possible to survive with this group. Let's see what happened in the game. Black decided to play like this, and now here. And now black played this way, and now actually white survived. White, while playing here, this group is already alive. Black even connected now, so white survived. In this moment, instead of this move, if I was black, I think I would play just this double hane. Because if white plays like this and captures the stone, black is able to get here this other exchange in center. So now when when white captures the stone, black has here a bigger wall. It's like already like one side game. Like black must kill white's group here on the top, but I think it might be really possible. If playing like this, I think it might be really possible to kill all this white's group. So if black kills this group, black gets quite many points there. So I think this could be a bit more interesting for black to play this way. In the actual game, when black decided to play like this, here white survived. I think white wins the game. In this moment, I think white won. But later, actually here, I think it's not necessary to play here. It's possible to play in this spot. White gets a bit more. Looks like it's a little bit more points, like maybe 1 point more, 1 point difference. Yeah, but after this move, anyway, white is alive in the corner, and black here played Tenuki, and now white played here. I don't understand why playing there. It's like if white plays anything in the center, white makes this group alive. How to play here? Like this, maybe like this. Black cannot kill. Black cannot do anything in the corner. White's corner is alive. So while playing here in this spot, white makes the other group alive. So black doesn't have here any points. White just wins the game. This is too big, what white has here. So I really don't understand why white decided to play one more move in the corner. Later, of course, black played there. So now it starts to be difficult for white. Black has many stones around, so it's possible to try to cut. And actually, black killed white up to this point. If black plays like this, when white plays here, black can just kill. White has just one eye. So it's again game over. Like this, black kills white, so black wins the game. And in the actual game, black plays like this. So now white is alive. If white plays like this, white connects this group with the other stones, white is alive, not possible to cut. But in the actual game, white decided to capture this stone. So now it's again possible to cut. So now again white died with this group. So, like this was the game. So black won the game actually now. Like here there are a few more moves. Yeah, and in this moment white resigned. Yeah, here there are so many situations like with making life possible or no with this group. Yeah, but both players played in Bierbooms. It's of course some excuse. It's not easy to play in Bierbooms. Yeah, but there were many options for both players to kill or survive with this group. Like here, this is the last possibility for white. When white plays like this, white connects here this group with the other stone. So here, like of course, it's possible to try to cut still, but white has quite a lot of space. I think white should make their second eye. So yeah, this is the last move to survive with this group, and I think win the game. Okay, this game was really very interesting, like many fightings in this game. Okay, thank you for your attention. Thank you for watching this video and all the previous videos from this tournament. If you are interested in Go lessons, if you would like to study Go, I would recommend you to enter polgote.com. You can join my online Go school. You can find there also your teacher for studying Go with a teacher. Also, you can order some Go equipment, Go books, polgote.com. Thank you.